Hello and welcome to another wonderful broadcast of Our Daily Magic, where we discuss the daily rituals that help us cultivate magic in our everyday lives. I am Kai Cole, and I have the pleasure and honor of welcoming our special guest, Dianne Bischoff James, a speaker, life transformation coach, and author of The Real Brass Ring. Hi, Dianne.
Hi, how you doing?
Great. Welcome to the Healding Farm.
Thank you. I feel like I'm literally there sitting with the roosters and the plants and all those beautiful animals. I'm excited.
It sounds like they're happy to have you as well. Awesome. So, Dianne, I read here that you have an MS in marketing communications, a BA in psychology, and you're the founder of an award-winning brand consultancy company, Core Marketing Solutions, as well as liveyoureverything.com. My, that is a mouthful. Would you like to give an introduction of your own?
Yes, actually, I'm a life reboot expert. I help people transform using powerful tools and any type of, I really combine internal and external wellness into transformation that will help you find and achieve your greatest good.
Wow, that's really amazing. So we're, getting to learn what it is that you do. Do you mind telling us a bit about who you are?
I feel like I'm a catalyst of transformation. My joy and challenges in life have been to change every single solitary aspect of who I was, both inside and out. And I feel like now my opportunity is to share that gift and tools and make sure everyone else is living their greatest possible life.
Excellent, and very well stated, by the way. So let's talk about this book, which is amazing, mind-boggling, and eye-opening. Early on in the book, you give us a list of shortcuts for happy living. Like, you've got the whole handbook right there in front of us. Do you mind talking about a few of them and explaining exactly what they are?
Oh, I'd be happy to. When I had, just to give you a little bit of the background, when I was almost 40, I had an encounter with Sonia Choquette. She's an internationally known psychic, now part of the Hay House group. And she basically said, everything about your life is wrong. She's like, wrong guy, wrong career, wrong location, wrong passion area, and I was 190 pounds. So she's like, you have to change your life and grab the real brass ring before it's too late, or you're going to die and this whole life will be a waste. So I had this incredible encounter, or as I say, outed by a psychic, and that inspired me, needless to say, to go after the shortcuts for happy living. Because she basically, it was a fabulous kick in the seat of the pants, and then it was like, goodbye and good luck. That was not easy. I mean, how do you change everything? How do you get rid of your career while you have 3 kids staring at you and still have to put groceries on the table and become all of these lofty things that she mentioned? She said, become an actor, an author, a teacher, and a healer, and in that order. And so I had to switch gears completely and reboot my life. So I put together the shortcuts because as a consultant, all I ever hear from executives is, okay, you know what? Just tell me what I need to know. Give me the top level, give me the executive summary. So I did that for myself. And they're called the shortcuts for happy living. And one of them, for example, and this is really one of the fundamental ones, and it really kind of sums up the law of attraction, which is whatever you think about, pay attention to, focus on, and especially write down and speak. They're coming your way. So you better make it good, whatever it is. And so whether you really want to even agree that the law of attraction is in order, it is working every single solitary day. So I had to, what I call, get rid of my stinking thinking.
I love it.
It was pretty dark at the time. And recraft my entire life and really focus on what it is I wanted, how I wanted, and really start to feel better about my life and focus and bring all that into attention so that I can create it. So that's one of the shortcuts.
Wow.
So really pay attention, mind your mind. Because that's
nice.
cool. Another one of samples of the shortcuts, because there's quite a few, is about the fact that we're all beings of light. And light is made in waves. You know, light actually forms, you know, it moves in waves. So if we can think about our life a little differently, and if this is the wave like that, we cut through it, that's your baseline. Now, some of us function, and I was functioning at the time way below. My wave was so low that I was really functioning in depression, in isolation in many ways, and not feeling my heart in any area of my life. And I had to really take a look at the wave flow and how would it be if that wave was flowing. You know how it is, you have a really good thing happens, and then, okay, maybe you get a parking ticket. I get a lot of parking tickets. That's about it. It's the only thing I do. But sometimes I'm out there, I'm like, darn it, there's that orange thing again. And then you know, you get this fabulous phone call inviting, you know, now I'm an actor, so I get invited to go audition for, you know, a movie with Will Ferrell. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a huge high. So it's really about managing your wave. How do you stay really just this nice sloping slope above and below this wave, which is neutral to positive? And that was a huge shift in my life, because I used to function mostly either extremely long lopes, which were extremely depressed, or anxiety, which where your wave goes like this, where I really never felt peaceful at any time. Mm-hmm. And so I really took a look at my experience of life in a really different format. So that's the second one. Another one that is kind of a really nice one that I like to work with clients on, and that's about it's your circle. You know, I like to put my hands out. Like if you have, you know, you have about a 5 foot, 5.5 foot for me circle, and the circle goes like a foot beyond your hand, about a foot above your head, and a foot into the ground. And your entire life, you think about it, it's so simple, is about managing what's inside that circle. Everything inside that circle is all you have to do. All you have to think about. It's who you are. It's about your path. It's about your lessons. It's about how it is that you're experiencing every day, like you have on that beautiful farm. Feeling elevated and joyful, or are you feeling that crunchiness, you know, that, oh my gosh, I'm off track, or I don't know what I'm doing, I'm unclear, or perhaps afraid. I know some people who live in fear every day. I'm going to lose my job. I won't be able to feed the family, in scarcity. And so if your whole life revolves around this one little circle, and that circle is this light bulb shining brightly, life's awesome. It really is. So those are just a few examples of some of the shortcuts. And so I help remember when you get out of everybody else's circle.
Excellent.
Back in your circle, life becomes a lot easier, a lot more fun.
Awesome, awesome. I especially love how you've reframed everything from neutral to positive. That just woke me up right there. Why not?
Right.
If I may ask, how do you use rituals to release anything that may be holding you back? Or what's the best way to unlock what's holding us back from achieving our highest successes?
Well, as you probably know, and I know GP, I know he's one of your guests.
Yes.
We were together at the Ultimate Law of Attraction event, and I met him, and he's awesome. And we have a couple things in common. One is that we both use a tool, which is pretty easy to use, called EFT. And that's just a tool that I've actually expanded upon that, and I use it to help people release some of their core patterns that have created any type of unhappiness. And this kind of in a nutshell is any authority figure or any person who was in charge when you were younger has inadvertently, not really consciously, but subconsciously given us some imprints. Those imprints could be either that we're not good enough, or that life is a struggle, or you're never going to make it, or just some really basic messages that really don't resonate with who we really are. So a simple tool, and this is just kind of a baseline. You can do it while you're standing in line at the bank or at the grocery store or any time where you're not, sometimes I even do it while driving, you know, in heavy traffic. So just really simple, you know, just really simple. It's like a tapping, and you kind of tap on the crown a little bit. And the funny thing is, as you start these simple EFT tapping tools, tap above your eye, side, and underneath, and then we go down kind of towards the center of the face. And the one I like the most is right here. You just tap on the either side of the pranic cord, so kind of like a wide hand, and just this gentle, like I'm getting stuck. And you know, it kind of helps me immediately get centered, calm down. And I always have this, I don't know, it just reminds me of those days when you were younger and someone just has you. You know, you got it. I've got you. You're okay. And it really helps me reduce any type of anxiety, fears, concerns. And it helps you just get centered. So that's one simple tool that you can, and people don't know what you're doing. That's a nice thing. It's not like anybody knows what you're up to. It's just that gentle centering, and it kind of brings you right back into who you are, into your heart, and allows you to calm down. Also allows the breath to calm a little bit. So there's a lot of great techniques and tools, and I'm putting together a second book actually. Yeah, that's going to have all the tools and techniques in this one master plan, so that you can not only get clear on your life, clear as to what you came here to do, your path is vibrant and right ahead of you and you can see it, but also to look at what those lessons might be. You know, we all came in with these palette of lessons, and the funny thing is, like, you and I could share a couple, and then we could have some that are completely different. We're all working off the same, it's like a menu. So maybe we have a few dessert lessons, and we have a few like main course lessons and appetizers, but we're all working off the same palette. And wouldn't it be wonderful if that was in our awareness, in our field? A quick example. My daughter and I just had an issue where she just came back from college, and something, I was getting kind of triggered on a few things. She was getting triggered on a few. And I had to go out, take a walk, and I was like, why am I getting upset? Why am I getting angry and frustrated? And what came forward were these patterns. I have a servant pattern, which is, anyone who has kids knows eventually the servant pattern can get kicked off. You know, you had to make lunch, then I had to go eat, then I had to go make some money, and I had to do this and that, and then it's more about more, and I get triggered by that. And then the second pattern came over, and they were all layered on top of each other, and then they just kind of came forward. Servant pattern, not being appreciated. And then the third pattern was getting sabotaged, you know, like having something I thought was going this way, and all of a sudden it went south, you know. And when they were layered on top of each other, I was really about that. And I said, look, my patterns are getting triggered. About hers. These are my patterns are getting triggered. Wait a minute, we have the same one getting triggered with each other. Isn't that funny? So it takes the communication out of, you know, being upset or frustrated, and it allowed us to actually talk about what was coming forward for us and how we could both appreciate each other. You know, I said, it's like saying, I appreciate that you're helping me get it, where she's going to a new college, so she said, I appreciate you helping me going to college. And then take the but out of there. And then it used to be, but this happened. I said, no, wait, now you just negated the whole thing. I just want to hear it. Let it sink in for 1 second. Oh gosh, that felt so nice. So you were able to use some of these really simple tools to communicate better, and all of the heat of the situation disappears. So
that's amazing.
Communication techniques and awareness, and just really understanding what your hot buttons are, and then how to stop having them pushed. In many cases, how to set up a boundary about that, or to really ask for what you're looking for and what you need in that moment. So those are just some of the really simple tools that you can use to go back to neutral, and then stay at positive, stay above the line as much as possible.
Awesome. That is so amazing. And I love how everything comes in like a neat package with you, Dianne.
I do my best. I try.
So I am a sucker for new terminology. I would love it if you could explain pragmatic metaphysics.
Okay, that's a term that I I pretty much made up, because what I found is that there's two parts of this world. Again, kind of a simple way to explain it is the world that most of us have been focused on is the one that we can see. We're having these experiences that we can feel, we can touch. That's the practical side. You know, you had to get up, you had to get dressed, you had to walk outside today, go sit outside on the farm, listen to the birds. You know, somebody got you there. That's your practical self. So that's the pragmatic side. And then, of course, we have the world that we can't see. That's the metaphysical side. And if we could drop down, let's say, this, you know, this window of what we can see, what we might experience is the universe that is way more powerful, way more connected, and has all of this energy to it that is our spirituality, it's our soul, it's our connections to others who have passed, and to source. And so I like to put in the pragmatic with the metaphysics, put it together. So it's a lot of east and a lot of west, all mishmashed together, so that we can not only look at the woo-woo side of life as a lot of, and I like that as well, but also the very practical part, because I like philosophies and practices that work, and I like to share those as much as possible. So that's what pragmatic metaphysics is.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for that explanation. And with that, there are some things that you mentioned in the book called danger signals that you receive when you're going down a path that may not necessarily serve you at that time. Being that, you know, this is our daily magic, we're talking about rituals that we can use on a daily basis, you know, to help us on that path. How would you suggest that we can program ourselves to listen and to pay attention to those danger signals in our daily lives?
Well, that's a great question, so thank you for that. Part of the shortcuts also touch on what I call your radar detector. And if you really think about it, we have this kind of a cord going through us that connects us to the other world, connects us to source, and we're connected to our feet around. And what I like to do is look at that as kind of your radar detector, the old-fashioned ones, you know, that used to come and go beep, 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 beep. And mine was completely shut down. So when I met Sonia and I was about 40, I was feeling that crunchiness all the time. I used to feel like there was like a twist inside my stomach, and it was just, everything felt bad. And then there was like this dark cloud. If I'd wake up, I always felt like anything could make me cry. You know, I just had this innate kind of a sadness, and that I couldn't figure out why I was here, what was going on, how was I going to get through the day and feed these 3 kids and keep up the mini mansion, because I had a big house across from the lake in Chicago. And it never felt good. I mean, nothing about my emotional core was in alignment. And so when you're really paying attention to that radar detector, that is your closest connection to source. How you feel and being happy matters. But for me, it was about, how do you stuff that down? Stuff it down. Shove it down. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to go there. There's nothing about whining that was allowed. It was like that, you know, the zero whining in our family. So it was more like, shut up, show up, and just put up. And so I was really unaware that I even had an emotional radar detector. But once I started actually listening to it, I started recognizing how accurate it is, how loud it gets sometimes, and honoring it, really honoring it to the point where in some cases, I remember even walking down a street once and having it go off. And this was, we were in New Orleans, and it was getting late. And, but I really wanted, I know this sounds crazy, I wanted to go check out a bakery. I had to have whatever this brownie this bakery had, because it was written up, and we were walking towards it, and I started getting this, like, from the inside, it was like kind of an anxiety, a beep, 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 and it started getting really loud. And I stopped and I said to my fiance at the time, I said, you know what? I think we have to abort and turn around right now. I get a really bad feeling. I have no idea why, but we shouldn't go down these streets as it's getting darker. And he's like, but I thought you had to go to this bakery. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Forget the bakery. Go back and get a hurricane instead, you know? So we went back to the main streets where it was well lit. And later I found out, actually the next day, that there had been about 5 muggings right where we were going to go. And I really, in the past, I would never have really honored myself. I would never have listened to those messages. I would never have paid attention to that uneasy feeling. I would have just barreled through and gone forward. And now I was so grateful. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. They call it getting rolled. I don't know if like the police know about it. And they're like, yeah, people who are unsuspecting who get off the main streets, go into the darker streets, and they get held up, and people, you know, hopefully just run away with their wallets, but still, you know, I missed the entire thing. So I started reeling on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, you know, to source, to self, and for really just being aware of what's going on and how I feel all the time. So that's just really, really looking at your emotional radar detector and putting it as your #1 communication source with yourself.
Wow, that is amazing and inspiring. Thank goodness you missed that.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Even though this is the second time.
I wanted to keep my ring and my watch, you know, hopefully we would have been okay, but still.
And this is the second time you bring up desserts, which makes this my kind of conversation. Love it. Love it. Okay, so here's a big one. These are huge life-changing events that you detail in the book. And I'm wondering how you handled the fear factor when it came to each one of these events.
Well, that's a big one. I think it was really difficult to hear that I had to change everything. And Sonia had brought up that she said, okay, you have to be an actor, author, teacher, and a healer. All of which I had been told from growing up that that's a nonsense career. You know, you'll never make it. You'll never be any good. And if you are good at it, you know, you won't be able to put 2 nickels together to put some groceries, talking food again, put groceries on the table. And so I think the fear came primarily, and understanding that fear had been put in my head since I was a kid, that, you know, there was never enough, that you're always, you know, we're always one step from, I felt like we're always one step from starving to death. And I don't know why, in my head, it was always like sleeping on the streets with newspapers as your blankets, you know? I mean, that fear of scarcity was so strong that I felt like I could never pursue anything in the arts or anything creative because it was going to be a failure. Because that was a message my father had drilled in very strongly. So part of that fear of scarcity was just, I hate to say it, but confronting myself, confronting the fear of the part of you that's saying, no, don't do it. You're going to never succeed, and you're going to not be able to eat, with the part that says, wow, this is a heartfelt passion. This is something I've loved to do since I was a child. What really helped me overcome it was realizing that at the end of the day, I wanted to live a life where when I die, I was going to turn around and say, I did everything I came here to do. So I had to go up to my higher self and say, is this part of my passion? Is this part of my course? And the answer was absolutely yes. So overcoming that, even being 190 pounds, I showed up for my first audition and I sang my heart out, even though I couldn't even sing. And I put myself on the line, and then I just celebrated. And even at being out of shape, unprepared, and sounding like a dying cow, since we're talking farms, I got my first role in theater, become townsperson 1 in the play of Oliver.
Awesome.
And I sang and danced, kicked up my feet for 3 months, prepared for this play, and I lost 30 pounds. And that role led to another role, led to another. And now I do theater, I do commercials, and I do mostly film. And I was just in a role with Paul Sorvino last year that was amazing and has become a very popular movie. So, I mean, I'm very lucky. And but it was about really confronting and knowing that there was no way that my life was going to be happy unless I pursued it, regardless of the outcome. Now, if they had said no, go away, which pretty much they did. Townsperson 1 wasn't much of a role, but but I still was allowed to do what I enjoyed. So it didn't matter what the outcome was. That should show up.
Yes.
Not when you achieve it, not what it looks like, not whether people say you're good enough, or whether you even say to yourself that you're good enough. It's that you put your two little feet and you show up where you're supposed to be with a smile on and with your heart forward. And that's all I did. And it took a lot of persistence and a lot of roles I didn't get, but the ones that I did, I truly enjoyed.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Love it. And I love the heart forward sensation that you leave me with after that story. I'm going to hold on to that. So Dianne, you've shared with us a myriad of amazing experiences, amazing information that we can take with us and apply to our lives every single day. If there was one single piece of concise advice that you would like to leave everyone with, may I please ask, what is it and why?
Yes. What everyone needs to remember, the animals know too. They know this is important. Ready? That your real brass ring is out there and you need to grab it before it's too late.
That's
because at the end of the day, you are the judge, the jury, and your own fan club of your life. So you just need to keep grabbing at every brass ring that comes along. Heart forward and with a smile on your face.
awesome. Awesome. Dianne, where can we find you out there in the digital world and in the physical world?
I am at Dianne, that's D-I-A-N-N-E, 2 N's and an E, Dianne.net. So I have workshops I'm developing for the fall. I think I'm going to have my first full 4-day workshop in New England. I'm going to be at the Natural Living Expo as one of their featured speakers, and I'm booking out for the fall. I'm going to take a little break for the summer. I'm going to book out for the fall, and I also help people find and achieve their greatest good through private coaching and have clients all over the country who have literally changed their lives, have stepped into their accurate path, the path that makes them happy, have embraced their passion, also changed their environments. And so I have lots of stories and all those types of tips and tools on Dianne at just Dianne at Dianne.net in case you want to reach me directly.
Excellent, excellent. I'd kill for that domain, by the way. So Dianne.net. Right. And you can catch us outside at Healding.Farm. So many great domains out there to be had. Thank you so much, Dianne, for being willing to do this interview today and to share your expertise, your story. I really appreciate everyone who's out there tuning in, and let's definitely take a look at the real brass ring and all that it can offer us. Thank you again, Dianne.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
You're very welcome. Take care.
Okay, bye.